And because you guys have a very nice foundation, it'll be pretty easy. Okay, so we're going to look at grabbing this elbow to control and then to take the hand off. Okay, here will be sort of control. You see how I'm taking that thumb and barring it across that bicep? I'm going over, right, and using these three fingers to grab the sleeve. I'm pulling, pinning the sleeve with my thumb here, and then I'm re-gripping. Okay, so now I have a nice handle, and I can adjust the gi and then pin this arm down. Okay, see how this works already? So once my arm is locked out, I can put weight on this elbow, so now I have a frame using my body weight, not just my arm. So now if he wants to go in the opposite direction, it's very difficult, and my body weight is controlling this elbow. Okay, see how that works? So that's one way to control his arm. Let's just say, for instance, he's pulling my head down, he's very good at using this arm, and now I say, you know what, I want to take this arm off. Okay? So from this position, I keep downward tension, and then I slide the hand down to the sleeve. Okay, but you feel this downward tension this whole time, right? And now I use the same idea. I use these bottom three fingers to collect the sleeve, right? There's still downward tension. I tighten, use my thumb and re-grip, and now I have a much more tighter position with my sleeve hand, okay? And then once you have this, you can adjust the gi so the whole hand goes down, okay? He's been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time, so his hands are very strong. The hand's not gonna slide down the gi, right? You got a good grip, but the gi gonna adjust. Okay, so now I'm in this position, and when I want to break this sleeve, it's a lot easier for me to separate here or engage the second hand and pop this hand off, okay? And now I have a very nice grip, and off of that I can use a nice little arm grip. Okay, so these are some ideas controlling this side. Okay, so we're going to start with that. We're going to go here, collect, adjust the gi, and then pin the elbow down using our body weight and the frame. And then we can go down here, and then collect the sleeve, adjust, and now we re-grip here, okay? And then if we want to, we can break the sleeve, the ball hand with two hands. Easy? Okay. You can go across here. You could use this, push down and pull. So now it's a very nice surface area to pull and go into the arm tag. Okay, so let's start off with this. We'll add this side, and then we'll play some games off of that, okay? 1, 2. 2 more with the lapel hand, how to deal with that, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this side, and we'll talk about putting it together. Okay? So he's grabbing high, and you see now this is like a regular gi, so there's only a little bit of slack. So a lot of the times what happens is you want extra slack going in the opposite direction. So you see guys doing this sort of a thing. Okay? So when you go up this way, this shortens that sleeve, and then you roll the gi in the opposite direction. So that's why you see guys like coming out like this. You see guys that do this to shorten the sleeves. So now it's a little bit tougher to grip. There's a lot of these little mini things that a lot of the jiu-jitsu guys plus judo guys all do. Okay? So if I adjust the gi this way, when he grabs this position here, I can re-grip here, and then there's a lot more slack to go in the opposite direction. Okay? And the reason being, even if the hand can't go low all the way, this position for my arm to press is much stronger than it would be very proud of up here. Okay? So that's a nice little trick to kind of just adjust. You're coming out here, you know they're going to grab with the right side, you're going to let them, and now from here, you're going to adjust the gi, okay? Sometimes if he's taller than me, it's hard to put downward pressure. In that case, we're going to let the gi slide away this way. See how the gi's going this way? I'm going backwards and then taking the tension towards him to create this space. So now from here, it's very easy for me to bring the hand down, and then as I'm gaming this gi, okay, I'm going to do it, okay? The key here is once I grip this, and if he grabs this, if I give him too much time to grip this position, he's going to eventually control this. Okay? So as I'm going here, as he's trying to grab the sleeve, annoying, and then I pop this side up. Okay? There's a little bit of like this side going, this side going. Okay? So that's sort of going to be the next step. As opposed to just taking this hand and then just adjusting it, right? We're going to adjust the gi down just a little bit. We're going to choke up in the opposite direction. Okay? If he's grabbing this side and I want it to slide down this way, we're going to give it extra slide in the opposite direction. Okay? And then from here he grabs, right? I could separate this way, go down, and then I'm moving this arm. Once I connect this hand, he's going to try to grab the sleeve, and I'm adjusting, and then try to pop off this side. Okay? That's an option. Making it look like I'm going to go for this lapel, and then taking this hand off. See that? So we're still looking at controlling this sleeve. Let's do that, and then we're gonna build on it. You guys have a nice idea of like which hand higher is better, okay? So now let's just start 50-50 here. And whether we're up here by the elbow or down by the sleeve, we're both trying to do the same thing here, okay? So now from here, when he has this sleeve hand, he's trying to push this arm down as well, okay? There we go. So now I'm trying to pick this arm up, I'm trying to push this arm, and now we're sort of in this 50-50. We're like kind of arm wrestling against each other, okay? So this is where we kind of have to do a little bit of maneuvering. So if he's pressing down into this side, right, into my hip, it's gonna be very difficult to pick my hand up. So in this case, we have to kind of maneuver a little bit by going in this direction this way, and now the hand's high, okay? So now there's no tension downward anymore. So from here, look, we're gonna use our hands to climb up the gi. Okay, so we're gonna rotate our wrist, and we're gonna claw our hands up, and then bite this hand high, okay? That's one option to kind of climb the hand up. If the arm is getting down this way, and if I try to bite up this gi now, the moment I release my grip, it's gonna go in the opposite direction, even though I wanna go up, obviously, because there's tension downward, okay? So when he's pushing the arm down, we're gonna release high this way, and then we're gonna try to climb up the gi, going up this way. If I keep this elbow up, it's very dangerous for him to shooting on this leg, so I wanna close this elbow, okay? But if he does shoot on his leg, I want to make sure this hand is underneath. You see how I'm pinching this elbow this from on the side? So now his arm cannot be connected. And then I'm going to use this Tagetoshi, keeping this elbow tight over the head. He's turning his arm down. Now I'm going to give you more tools so you guys can play games with it. Now having 2 or 3 things that you can cycle through makes it a little bit more interesting. So I release it high, and then I bite up this way. Okay? You get elbow frame down, but making sure that this hand is ready to go underneath it, in case he shoots. Okay? Frame is one defense, and then the other defense is taking the sleeve, and then going under here so he can't connect his hand. Okay? A very common one for jiu-jitsu guys is to do a sweep single on his leg. Yeah. Go. Okay? But this, if I keep this hand high, if he's able to bring this arm low, is dangerous. So from here, look, I step, and then look, I rip his shoulder up and over his head, and taking the knuckles underneath the forearm, creates this. All right, don't blow your friend's shoulder out, okay? So let's work on these guys on the lapel side. Okay? All right, go. Let's go. Last one through this stuff. Wonderful. Okay? These grips that you guys are all doing, like the spider grip, you know, the pistol grip, they all serve a different purpose. The reason why I don't love this spider grip as much is with the spider grip, you can't really push so much with this grip, okay? You need to take this hand off and use this to kind of take the hand off, right? And this is actually one of the best ways to control for a pulling, because you make this pocket grip. If you do spider guard, lasso guard, you can put the foot on the bicep, throw the lasso over. Very, very difficult to get out, right? And he's gonna want to disengage and bring that arm away, and the fingers are connected. So it serves as a very good utility for this kind of a grip. But for the purpose of pushing and taking the hand off and adjusting to these different positions, right, I prefer this sort of a grip, okay? There's lots of different ways to use this grip, but just for the purpose of this drill, if you guys can do this, you know, I saw a lot of you guys doing this, but this is very difficult to get the hand off. Even like adjusting and then popping the hand off here, right, because there's a little bit more slack. It's like very difficult to push this gi off because of the slack with the gi sliders. You see, it makes sense? And because the position of my finger is going in this direction, I can't push as well, as opposed to having sort of a nice handle to be able to push off of, right? There's no space here. Okay? So, that being said, he's pushing down his elbow again. Okay? I'm trying to release it to the side. I go high, and from this position, look, I throw this elbow down and in this way to go against the fingers. Okay? Down in this way. If it doesn't come out here, I try to rip up this way. And now look, I can enter inside trip, right? Or as he tries to re-grip the sleeve, I can move and try to gain position here. Now I have a nice angle for a quick leg pick there. Okay? So we're going to add this tool here. He's pushing down this way. I'm releasing. I may want to bite up, but I also want to drop this elbow fast to take that hand off. Okay? And if the only thing he's doing is trying to keep this hand on, it's going to be difficult to do. That's why sometimes, as you're doing this, you're adjusting here and putting a little bit of tension here, and you got to use both hands. And now I can go inside trip here. Make sense? Yeah? So release, down axe and hold this way to try to cut that hand. Okay, that's the next tool that we're gonna have. All right, all right, go. Do it. Right? He's pinning his elbow down, okay? And then I'm trying to release this way. So you see how he's pushing this way down? So there's a little bit of a weight going in the side. So I release it this way, and then not here. I try to throw the elbow down, I can't, okay? In this case, right, we're gonna add another one. So circle this way, keeping the tension back this way, pushing it this way. I'm gonna rotate my arm up this way, so my elbow goes high, and then I rotate this elbow to the outside of the wrist. So now you have this elbow on the outside of the wrist, and then I use this to lever this hand off, okay? So what I'm trying to do here is when he's pinning his arm down, okay, I'm trying to release and bring this elbow high, and I'm going to try to rotate my arm in the gi. You see how my arm, I'm exaggerating, but I'm rotating the arm inside the gi sleeve, and then I'm taking it so now my elbow is on the outside of the wrist, okay? So then when I go inside, it's going to kind of pop off. Each tool is not so good independently, but you make them work together. Right? So if I'm trying to bring the arm to the outside here and go here, he's not going to like that. So in that case, he may try to loosen a little bit, and that's when I might bite up this way. Make sense? I'm going to try to rotate the elbow to the outside here. He goes outside, and I cut here. All right, go ahead. And then look, I bite up because there's no tension. So you kind of have to alternate through all of these. And as you're doing all this stuff, right, I'm trying to game this side here. Put a little bit of pressure, adjusting here and trying to cut the sleeve, biting the hand up, okay, and then look, I'm attacking the leg at the same time. Make sense? It's kind of like when you guys go on knee cut, you're trying to address the knee shield, trying to grab the collar, right? Trying to clear it, go back to headquarters. You're kind of alternating between all your pieces, right? You can't just go knee cut, put the press in there, grab the collar, and pass on anybody good. You have to rotate through all your tools. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So let's let this last piece in there. There's downward pressure, right? I'm gonna try to release it, go high, rotate the elbow over, and then create this fulcrum on the outside of the wrist. Okay? This works best when he's keeping it like really, really tight. Got it? 1, 2. As I'm trying to release and bringing this elbow up, and he's kind of not letting me bring my elbow up and over. Okay, so he's raising his elbow too. Raise your elbow. See how I can't do this? Okay, in this case, look, there's all the space center Uchimata here. Okay, see how that kind of works? That's the opportunity. Oh, no. So now we're kind of not just doing gripping, but now we're tying in all the other stuff. Okay? So these little things are sort of your entry, you know? Sometimes when he's pushing downward this way, and I'm releasing, I'm going high here, this space, look, I could throw my hips in this way, and attack the inside trip here, and then run him over, okay? So the gripping and then the attacking kind of has to be working together. Make sense? So let's try that. It's simple, right? As the elbow comes up and you're trying to throw the elbow over, they're bringing their arm up. Great time to enter Uchimata, but go very gentle. You know, no one slam each other someday, okay? Releasing high, and then you're pulling yourself and throwing your hips in, and then attacking the inside trip, okay? If you do inside trip. Okay, let's try that. 1, 2. First little mini drill. You call it a game, but it's not really a game because we're not like competing against each other. It's just simply my turn and then your turn. Okay? So the goal is this. We're gonna do 1 or 2 things here and then 1 or 2 things here. Okay? So adjusting here, trying to cut inside, trying to take the hand off, rotating the elbow over. Okay? Trying to pop this hand off, and then trying to move this. Okay, so now I'm just trying to train my body to do one thing on this, one thing over here. Make sense? It's my turn. I'm doing it. So I'm just gonna kind of go, and then I'm gonna be like, all right, now it's your turn. I'm just gonna, okay? So one thing here, one thing there, one thing here, movement, one thing there, and then now look, you attack your feet. Okay, so you can throw something, just a couple of quick attacks. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be like changing levels and shooting a little bit. Okay? Adjusting, trying to release here, biting up the gi, right? Popping this hand off, and then you could just a tap. Okay, now it's your turn. We're just taking turns, okay? And then we're gonna play some games off of this kind of an idea. Got it? So one thing here, one thing there, alternating. Maybe even 1 here, 2 here. right? Because one thing might not do it, but if he's thinking about keeping this lapel hand, he might not be thinking about this. I'm trying to bite on this, he resists, I go the opposite direction, something like that, okay? 1, 2. Don't kill each other. We're gonna play an actual game, okay? The game is this. Right versus right here. See how we're the same? The goal is to free up one of the hands, okay? So my goal is either try to take this hand off or take this hand off. So now look, I have 2 points of control. And now, you see how he has no frame here? So if I want to enter, I can enter, okay? But with 2 arms structurally like this, it's very difficult to get through. Okay, so the goal is to try to outmaneuver here, and try to take one of the hands off. Right? And when you're there, you're trying to keep that position. So he has this, you're trying to keep him asleep. Okay? What he's going to do here, I'm going to give you some tools, right? If he tries to rip this elbow back and away from me, like, ah! You see how the hand comes right off? There's a lot of tension on the fingers. So do it again. I loosen, okay, and bring it inside, keep over that. So there's no tension on the fingers. Okay, this is like a lot of judo guys do this. Really annoying at the highest level, right? Because the moment you throw that elbow back, look, I follow it. See how I'm following it? Right? So there's no tension on the hands. Because if I keep it here and if he yanks it, it's just a lot of tension on the finger. It taxes your hands. Okay, so it's just like you're kind of loose and connected as he's throwing the hand away. Look, you're following it, and then you're attacking inside trip and taking him down off of that. Okay? So that's one of the tricks over here. And then once you take this hand off, you're moving this elbow so he can't really quite get a good grip on it. And then you're attacking off of that as he's chasing the sleeve. Okay, because there's no frame there. It's about like clearing frames. Like jiu-jitsu is kind of like that, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're not taking each other down. No one take each other down because it has to be a conscious game. If you're going fast and going really hard, you're just defaulting to all the stuff that you've been doing, which is not wrong. Okay, but we're trying to develop some new skills here, you know? So once I get the win, because it's a game, okay, I'm gonna throttle myself down, and then it's almost like it's his turn to win. So you just kind of trade him in. So not one person's just dominating the person, right? Especially if there's a skill gap. If you're a black belt or a white belt, you can win every single round here. It won't be fun for both of you. Okay, it's like, you got it. Let this guy work a little bit, kind of like this. But it's a game also. You guys get the drill? Yeah? All right, 1, 2. Cool. This is like the most common thing in jiu-jitsu ever. So if you could anticipate it, huge advantage, okay? Let's just say he comes and grabs the lapel. Look, I'm doing the right thing. I'm adjusting a little bit, but the hand's on. My hand's a little bit higher, right? So let's just say, for instance, if he doesn't pull guard, okay? That's kind of the premise that we're all operating on here. He's not pulling guard. If he does pull guard, you're in top, open guard, trying to pass. The usual jiu-jitsu thing, but this is the position that we're talking about in 2 judo jiu-jitsu guys. We both don't want to pull guard, we want to take each other down, okay? Make sense? I gain this advantage, he's not going to pull guard. What is the most likely thing that he might do here? Shoot? Yeah, he could shoot, but you know, I'm okay here. Most likely thing, what's he going to do? He's not comfortable here. I'm winning position slightly.
Change his grip.
Change his grip, yeah. How are you going to do that?
Release, he got one over there.
Yeah, he's going to try to take this hand off. Go ahead. Take this hand off.
Oh, take
Yeah,
this.
2-handed break. Okay, see how that did this? He's trying to go 2-handed grip break, and if he gets to this hand, right, 2 hands on this, 2 hands on one, he's going to be able to separate this hand off the gi. Right? He's going to be able to do that, okay? So I'm going to anticipate it, and as he's going for the sleeve, look, I push it down and lift this hand up, okay? So now from here, he's got 2 hands, he's got 1, okay? So if you could anticipate this, great. That's sort of step number 1, okay? Step number 2, he gets to the hand. Boom, okay? I release, and I circle this way, okay? So as he gets to the hand, look, I release this way, cut this hand away, and then keep this. Okay? And now what's he going to do off of this? Got another grip? You going to?
Yeah.
Okay? So he's going to try to rip away and you're going to follow. Because if he rips away and if I keep it, it's going to do this on my hand. Okay? You could even release it, go ahead. And then follow this and then shoot off of that as well. Okay? But you're trying to time all these different things. Alright? So first one, he goes to grip grip break here. Up and over. And this is nice because then you can circle, right? Bite up, etc., etc. He kind of just gave you a free hand essentially. But you're anticipating this, okay? He gets to the hand and releases in here, okay? There's an arm drag here. He may try to rip away, etc., etc., okay? So you're just trying to anticipate him letting go to grip break. Got it? 1, 2. Right? So from this position, we're going to be doing one thing here, 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 okay? And then he's going to try to grip break, adjusting his leg, okay? Make sense? So we're going to do this, put the 2 drills together. But when I'm going for this grip break, so I'm the uke now, he's doing this drill. He's adjusting the gi, he's putting pressure here, he's trying to rip his hand off. Okay, after about 10, 20 seconds, I'm going to try to grip break this, but I'm going to go very, very slow. So you can time it, go ahead, do your drill. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go very, very slow so we can kind of really talk ourselves through it. Okay, because if you're doing it, and then if it gets here very quickly, this might happen. You know, so we're trying to, little by little, try to anticipate it and do it slow first. So he's doing the drill again, right? Moving, adjusting, and I'm going to go grip break. Yes, exactly. Okay? Just like that, as a drill. Okay? 1, 2. Inside chip to Uchimata. Okay, these two work really, really good together. We're going to do it sort of in a way where we're putting everything together, okay? So if there's a stiff arm here, right? You see now I can't, he's just pushing away here, just like stiffening your arm here. You see now it's very difficult for me to get my chest very close here, right? So I have to do one of these guys, I have to break one of these. If I free up this arm here, right, if this hand is off, right, now it's a lot easier for me to enter this direction. He's grabbing on and making a stiff arm here, but if this hand is off, now I can enter from this position. So having both arms stiff arm is very, very annoying. But now we have a couple of tools to release some of those things, okay? So he's pinning his arm down this way. Look, I try to release this way. I try to cut, and now this is my entry into Ochi. Okay. Before we go to the actual takedown, I want to do a little bit of a break fall drill based on the inside trip. And this is what we do a lot in the gym. We enter this way, and we clip this leg, but he's going to put all his weight on this leg and do a pistol squat all the way down. Up this way, squat all the way down, squat, go, all the way down. You see I'm holding him up? And then I release him like this. So we're doing essentially a 0 impact takedown drill where he's not getting dropped, I'm holding him up. And this is actually really good for me too because as I'm entering the inside trip, I'm keeping my core tight, I'm working on I have to have my balance in order to control and decelerate, right? Decelerate him slowly. Make sense? So you're really developing sort of the control aspect of the takedown. I'm training my entries, he's training his break falls, and it's extremely safe. Okay, literally 0 impact is the goal, you know? So we could drill both aspects of this, and I could work on control with no risk whatsoever. Make sense? All right, so we're gonna fight for the position, enter inside trip, and the other person, we're gonna shift his weight on his leg, literally do a pistol squat, and then you're gonna put him down very, very gently. You know, like that's like learning to throw like a cross or something. And then if you only have that cross the same, right, it's not going to do anything, right? You got to sort of like feint it a little bit. Every now and then throw a haymaker, you know, and you got to set it up, okay? So, right versus right. We're adjusting a little bit, trying to gain a little bit of position. Maybe we bite up, so now I have good dominant position, okay? Because of this position of his arm, it's very easy for me to enter this way, okay? So he's very aware that inside trip might come, okay? Inside trip here, coming and attacking this way. So now from here we fake it, but we circle away, pull the head down, and then we re-enter it. Okay, you see how I feinted? Came out. Make sense? Oh shoot, inside trip is coming, right? I circle away and pull the head down. Okay? You posture up, pop this side hand off. Okay, so you see how like we're alternating tools? But the whole time, I'm not in any danger because I have very good control here right now. Okay? This arm is framed here, it's close to his head, which means I control his head. Okay? I have the sleeve. So now if he wants to spear double me, he can't. He can't sit on my knee for Tanya Toshi. And now look, I have a lot of mobility to sort of set up my next attack here. Okay? If you have a massive Uchimata like this, you can set this up right now, you know, but you have the choice to be able to set something big up, or you can pull guard if you want to. Right? But in a good position to pull guard because you're winning in positions. You're not pulling out of desperation. Make sense? So, same drill here, adjusting, right? Gaining a little bit of position, backstepping, circling, okay? Pull the head down, and that leg came to me, and now I gotta attack that inside trip. Make sense? So we're gonna do that one, and then we're gonna do a feint to the turning throw. The shoulder turn throw, and then set that up after that. Okay, so let's do this one first, okay? The key here is sometimes you enter, backstep into the OG. Okay, it doesn't matter if you get it or not. I mean, it does a little bit. But once he feels like, oh, that's the timing that he's gonna go inside trip, he's gonna bite next time. Because I've already set him up for that. Okay, and then sometimes it's here and the way, and sometimes it's adjusting, circle this way, backstep this way, circle. Circle, cut the sleeve, oh shoot. Okay, and that's, that way they don't see the inside trip coming. And then we're gonna set up Uchimata off that too. Got it? 1, 2. This, okay, we're gonna have this. So, everyone's doing a really good job. I'm gonna be less descriptive now. Backstep, side step, okay? Right hand, left hand, they're all working together. Coming this way, right? Adjusting, backstep, side step, okay? When we go this way, we're just circling, but now we're just gonna step and attack this here. It's the side also, okay? The key to Sasai here is a lot of people do this. They try to lift with their delts. This is like not really strong motion. Who lift weights in here? Right? Dumbbell flies much weaker than a press, right? Yes? So when I'm going to side here, if I lift from here upward, this is not a very strong range of motion, right? And I'm also going to take myself off balance. When I'm going to side, look, I'm uppercutting and then bringing this elbow underneath. Kind of like I'm doing like a dumbbell shoulder press, or like a military press, right? Bah, it is. Okay? So we're going to add this back step, circle, to side, right? Ochi, circle, big ochi, to side, okay? So not only am I taking a flank position, angling off, I'm attacking from over here, I'm attacking from over here. As I'm gaining in position and trying to adjust the lapel, sleeve, okay? This is completely different from like face on like this and trying to throw directly head on, which can be done, but it's a lot harder, you know? So that's why you wanna attack from one side to the other side, okay? So let's attack this, so yeah, question?
Could you the motion again?
The motion, yeah. So we're gaining here, back step, ochi, circling this way. Sometimes I go here, sometimes I go there, sometimes attacks the side. Okay? I mean, obviously there's other steps, other moves we're gonna add to this. But we could do the Sasai also with the finish, where he's just gonna go down all the way down, you know? See, I'm holding him up this way? And then he can practice the break full, just like that, zero impact, okay? So you could really train the inside trip Sasai with zero tax on Mayuke's body, which means he's more likely to drill with me, as opposed to like, oh, I'm gonna rip this, let me try this on you. Like, ah, shit. And you just rip and throws the whole time. Who's gonna wanna take that? Nobody. But this, it doesn't matter, right? Because it's zero tax on their body, make sense? Right, just make sure you don't throw onto somebody. 1, 2. Inverted gear. Yeah. Inverted gear academy. So, a lot of you guys are stepping here, circling, and then simply do this trailing leg. That's good. But the one we're doing is a little bit different. We're going back step, inside trip, and then the same leg that's attacking the inside trip is blocking this leg. Okay, so we're doing a Sasai now. Okay, Sasai is great with Osoto. If you guys already do Osoto, you guys do this one, right? Osoto? Right? Most people, when the Osoto's coming, they lean the opposite direction. Ah, shit! Right? And then you look for that defense. Osoto's coming, and then you go the opposite side. Right? And then you can attack inside trip, circle, right? To side, inside trip. Ego Soto here. Okay? So let's mix that in. 1, 2. Okay, so I'm gonna have you right here. So when I go Uchimata off this back step here, I want to bring this knuckles down into this gi, okay? There's many different types of Uchimata, but I figure the best thing is for Jiu-Jitsu is on this close side collar, okay? Taking this deep arm is okay too, but if I miss, I'm giving up my back and I'm giving him access. And I don't have full control over this distance. Same reason why when you're doing Tomonage in Jiu-Jitsu or you pull a guard, you pulse on the hip and then you go down because you want to create that separation first, right? So, same type of entry, back step. If I have control over this chin, I'm going to go inside chip, going cross body over here, okay? But if I'm going Uchimata here, I take the same back step, and then I rotate this gi downward this way, so there's downward force on that neck. So when I enter this way for the Uchimata, there's always this frame separating our upper body. Just in case it doesn't work, and if he wants to grab around the waist and go for Tanya Toshi, it's very difficult, and I could easily exit out if I need to, okay? And if I want to enter into that same position again, now look, I go high, and I go Ochi inside trip this direction. Make sense? The way we're going to drill this though, because of the finish is really important, he's going to be side to side here, and then he's going to let this body weight fall onto this, okay? So he's going to bend by the hips, he's going to let the body weight go high, and then see how I'm driving my body into him? So he's supporting my body here. This is kind of the key. I take the sleeve and I tug it to my far hip, okay? Once he's holding on my body, it's a lot easier for me to do the Uchimata, okay? And then we're going to do 3-person Uchiko and do groups of 3. Well, since we have these poles, might as well use it, okay? So once I enter here, I'm bringing his head down, and I'm using my body weight and then driving this knuckle down into the floor here, okay? So this is holding up my body weight, okay, make sense? So now I'm very, very stable with this leg, as opposed to, this is the bad example, I'm holding my own weight up, right? This leg goes up, right? And I'm trying to push this hand down while I'm keeping my body weight up. Most of my weight is on this support leg. That's not good, okay? I want to take his head and put all the weight on his head this way. Okay, make sense? So this is a little bit of a feel thing. So let's enter Ochi, let's go Sasai, get near a pole, and then let your partner kind of get to this position here. And then really feel the weight down on this inside close side collar. Okay? 1, 2. So we'll do a 3-person group. Okay? He's going to be here low. See how I'm going to put my hand right around his belt here like this? Okay? So I take this position, so if he leans back, fall back on me. See how I'm holding him up, right? I can also lift him up a little bit here. And I can also angle myself here. So if the person's doing inside trip this way, I hold him up. Okay, so you want to do inside trip on him? Okay, so it's going to be a 3-person drill. Not so hard, nice and easy. Okay? Let's just do a straight back inside trip towards me. Go ahead. Up towards me. Straight back. Straight back. This way. Good. You see how now? Put your weight on him. Put your body weight on him. You see how he has the inside trip and he's off balance properly, and he has his core tight, and he's putting his body weight on him, right? Going this direction. When we do the cross body Ochi, when we're mushing the face and going to this direction, right? I'm over here. Go ahead, inside trip. And he's putting his body weight onto me here. Put your body weight on. Yeah. See now he's driving, like in a football drill, right? And then if he goes Uchimata in this direction, do Uchimata that way, the same Uchimata that we just did. You see how I'm holding him up? Well, put your weight on him. Put your weight on him. There you go. See how this, I'm holding him up? So we're going to enter Ochi straight back, cross body Ochi, Uchimata. Okay? But we're not going to forget this whole thing that we did. Okay? Attack the feet, cut the hand. We have our position, faking, circling, and then we're going to go straight back inside trip, boom, this way. But he's going to hold him up. Okay? So go ahead. Support here around the waist. All right? You're going to around the belt. Make sure you don't get headbutted.
Yeah.
We're not going crazy. Okay? He's going to move your head to this side a little bit. See how he falls on? Inside trip. You see how my body weight is on him? So now, look, I'm still able to push it. Okay? That's straight back inside trip. And now we're going to go cross body. This way, right? I'm mushing his head and driving this way. We're working on the second part of the throw. And the Uchimata way, he has to go a little bit around to this side. I have to see how I have good pressure on that head. And I'm pretty stable here, right? And then you could obviously go Koji here, go Soto. Really good stability here, good hand position, and you feel this.
Yep.
Okay? Great way to drill. You know, keeping the tension all throughout the second portion of the throw to get the finish. Okay? It's like finishing mechanics almost. Alright? 1, 2. Alright, group of 3. Topics of like a little bit more, we're doing a lot of everything upright. And this is great if you're doing judo rules, but jiu-jitsu rules different. You know, he's hinged by the hips, his hips are further back. Okay? Which is a nice thing about this Uchimata, because if your hips are back, and see how he's hinged by the waist, and if I have good hand position here, it's very easy to escape to the side and put downward pressure on the head here. Okay? So that's why this is sort of the best one for jiu-jitsu. We're doing a lot of like inside trip, foot sweeps aside, upright, gaining position, side step, and Uchimata. But in jiu-jitsu, it's sort of the opposite, because the position's so low. Okay? We want to attack from back here, okay? Circle this way, right? Attack inside trip with the hand on the chin. So we almost want to sort of start with the Uchimata and reverse it, as opposed to Judo, which we're a little bit more upright, and I'm attacking the feet, side, inside trip, and then little by little, I'm setting him off with a big turn throw here, okay? Make sense so far? Because the more I'm attacking the feet in Judo, the more he gets uncomfortable, especially from winning position, and the more defensive he'll get with his hips further back, which will open up this Uchimata a lot better. You guys make sense how that's working? Right? So once you have this back step Uchimata, you fake it, gain position here, attack the feet, he's getting more upright, and then you work the legs. Make sense? Yeah? Yeah, do you come in for the third person also? These drills are always good when you have good dominant position. Back step here. You could also double also here, okay? And then if he's holding him up, I kind of use this to kind of work a little bit extra, you know? But if he's down low like this, then I can't shoot a blast double here, just because of this position, okay? So if we're down low, same idea, we're kind of gaining position, hand position like this, snapping him down, back step, right? Little by little, he gets uncomfortable, now there's my entry here. And then I'm putting my weight on. Make sense? So for Jiu-Jitsu, it's a little bit reversed in that sense. You kind of have to attack this back step Uchimata, and you have to capitalize on their head being lower than yours. Make sense? Yeah? Okay, let's do this drill one more time. Let's attack, do some leg grabs too. Okay? But setting everything up. Gaining position, circling, attacking the feet, maybe a double, because you have a third person there. Okay? 1, 2. Alright, watch. We're going to go Tomonagi. This is an example of a three-person coming that's really good. So hips back here. Okay? So watch where I'm standing. See how I'm going high, hand over like this, then just enter Tomonagi really slowly. Right here, stay right there. Right? Let's go this way here. Load him on your leg. Right. See how I'm holding him up like this? Keeping it close. Okay? So these drills are very, very good to learn Tomonagi. Let's do a straight back Tomonagi. Okay? And now your foot's gonna go to this hip, but this foot is gonna go butterfly.
Okay.
Butterfly hook. Okay? Butterfly. Yeah, yes. See how he has a butterfly hook? So you see how like he has good stability here? I'm helping. Okay? So now we're working sort of the second portion of the throw, and then you can kind of work over this way. But you see how safe it is for this guy? He's not landing on his shoulder or his neck. Sort of shoulder position, shoulder turn throw, gain hand position, shoulder ochi. But ultimately, we're going to go underneath for a straight back to Tomonagi. Okay, the key to this one is the secondary leg, the butterfly. Okay? Sometimes you go lower shin to shin. Sometimes you go high on the butt. Okay? But keeping an engaged second foot with the butterfly hook, with the instep, that's the key here. Okay? And the person, me as a uke, the third person, I have to keep his hips close to my hip. It's like deadlifting close with the bar close to your hips. You don't deadlift the bar out here. Out here, I can't control anybody. That's why I want to keep the belt very close to my hip underneath my center of gravity. Okay? So let's figure this out nice and easy. Coordinate this. And this is a really good way to improve your tomonage like exponentially with zero risk. Okay? And this is much more relevant for jiu-jitsu. So what happens a lot is like, if I'm doing judo, if I'm getting out-gripped, oh shoot, this is the time for me to enter tomonage. Okay? And this is the best way to learn it. Okay? Let's give it a shot. 1, 2. Our judo system. Okay? We have gaining hand position, their hips are back. Okay, the beauty of tomonage for jiu-jitsu guys is that everyone pulls guard. So it's a very reactive feint. You know, everyone knows what to do when he's pulling. You pull guard from me for a second. You see, I'm posturing up and putting my weight back and squatting down with my legs and doing this. Yeah? I'm not going to just stay loose and let him extend my arms and throw lasso over. Okay? So he's going to respond to my guard pull. Whoop. Inside trip here, yeah. Gain position, cut the hand, enter Ochi this way. Okay? And then the whole time we started 50-50, but the moment I feint and gain a little bit of position, now I'm winning. Right? And the risk of him taking me down with a shot is very low because of the hand position. Trying to gain a little bit here, entering inside trip, looking through the side, and then I'm attacking that tomonage with the foot to the inside. You see what I mean? So you feint Ochi, go tomonage. Right? Gain position, tomonage, inside trip. Ochi's coming, nope, circle. Gain a little bit of position. Okay? That's kind of the idea. So let's just wrap it up with that. Just drilling, one hand, other hand, faking tomonage, faking Ochi, angling off, and peppering a couple of attacks, that's it. Okay? And you're never doing judo like locked up like this. This is like, it's very difficult to do. You know, if you're bigger, stronger, faster, great. And there's time for that, you know? For instance, like psychologically, like we bow, and I see that this guy's scared of me. Maybe he's a little bit more tired, and I feel like I can just steamroll him. Then I'll do that, you know? And it's very psychological because you guys say you do some judo tournaments. It's very, very fast, and the time can shift so quick. And if you go through like a 5-minute grind match, 4-minute grind match, first round, second round, now you're in the quarters, you're shot. So it's sometimes like first, second round, all right, I could kind of steamroll this person, forget it. Upper body lock up, bang! And then just trying to rip through guys, first, second match. Right, so there's a place for it. Especially if you're bigger and stronger than someone, you almost want to force this kind of a thing because it's like, I'm a little bit heavier than him. How much you weigh?
180.
180, we're about the same weight, but like, let's say if I was heavier than him, and if I had a couple of inches like this on him, then I want to be 50-50, and then start ripping stuff because I'm going to have an advantage there, as opposed to like burning a lot of energy moving around and such. So there's a place for that, and there's a place for this. You know, you kind of have to mix and match your style and kind of develop your own, you know. If you're big and strong like Nelson, just lock up and throw. But this stuff here, 50-50, it's a lot of it is feel-based. You know what I mean? Especially for like here like this. Because if I guess Osoro's coming and there's something else comes, I'm in trouble. Right? If I can make him believe like Osoro's coming and then shift to something fast, right? And you're locked in there. And it's the same position. So there's a lot of risk and a lot of time needs to be spent in that position to develop that intuition. You get what I'm saying? But this way you kind of minimize your exposure to the stuff that he's going to do. Right here, he could jump guard, jump armbar. There's a million things he could do from here, right? But from here, there's not a lot. And from here, I'm almost certain that he's going to try to break the sleeve, right? Break the sleeve, yeah. Right, try to rip it out. Rip this hand out. Yeah, he's going to do that, okay? And I may be able to follow and go into something else, or I may try to anticipate him coming to this slip out. Okay, because there's a limited number of things he can do. All right, you guys got the last drill? Fainting tomonage, fainting Ochi, just putting everything together. Okay? All right, go. We'll do it. No questions? Yeah. That's a very good question. So it depends on what I want to do here, right? For instance, like if I was working out with him, right, just because of our size difference, maybe I let him grip up, and because of my size difference, that's the number one thing, I may even just go here in the inside pocket grip, because now from here, if he wants to get away, he can't, right? Because this is such a good two-handed control, and because I'm heavier, I can force a lot of things from here, right? But if I was going with someone much heavier, right, let's say you, I want to go down to the sleeve with the intent of cutting this hand off, right? Because if I'm working out with you, and because the arm length, you see how there's the arm length thing here, right? Getting that pocket grip is going to, see how I can't reach that inside pocket grip? But if I'm down here, if I'm able to take this hand off here, now ready, set, go, it's a lot safer for me to do judo out here, right? But the moves are different. If I want to do Uchimata, this is a little bit looser. Okay, this is more so drop senagi, tomonagi kind of a thing, as opposed to, if I want to engage Uchimata, if I was very confident in being able to throw this man Uchimata, then I might go here, and the distance is a little bit different, but I have my attacks from here, and my attacks from here. Make sense? So that, it really depends on when I go for what.
Yes, sir.
You kind of have to have a game for all of it, you know? Yeah.
The Sasai grip.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble like transitioning. Is
Yeah.
there any like position that you start from? Again, I know it's kind of like similar.
To the side from this sleeve?
Yeah, from that side.
Yeah. So once I'm in this position, I'm holding control in here. When I go to the side this way, I tuck this knuckles underneath here this way. So I'm driving the bottom of my fist into this form like this. So there's tension here. You feel it. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, very
right?
uncomfortable.
So now you kind of have this like wrenching sort of a.
And then a lot of times I get him cross and then break his grip.
Yeah.
Is there any like is it Koso that goes back? Would you besides like just wrestling him or jumping on his back or doing
Yeah.
something jiu-jitsu or wrestling based? Do you have anything like judo based?
Yeah. So if I'm going to the side and this arm comes up and he's circling
Yeah.
this way, he's not gonna. Yeah, he's gonna circle or I'm gonna attack that foot sweep.
Okay.
Yeah, trailing like foot sweep when the weight's coming off of that.
Okay.
That's usually what I would go. You know, and what's really popular now is people switching over here, then going to the opposite side and pulling him onto that hip, and then try to lift him upwards this way.
Yeah.
That's really popular. The Russians like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Get close like this. Lift. Any other question? Yep.
Ochigari, like
Yeah.
more of a traditional entry. Are you always keeping your head on the same side that you're tripping the leg? Because I've seen some variation sometimes.
Yes, that's a very good question. So Ochi, I could go straight back, which is like the most traditional way. I could go to the weak side. I could go crossbody like we did. Crossbody, I'm driving this way with my hand going across the chin. But if I'm going to the weak side, keep your foot even, right? I want to take his body weight in this direction. So I'm taking this base out, I'm taking him in this direction. It's hard for me to put weight on him over here with my head on this side. So in that case, I'll throw my head this direction. So see now I'm hanging off and putting weight on this leg, but I took this leg out, right? So if I'm going cut back Ochi to this direction, head on this side. When you do the traditional wrestling, drop Ochi from here, put it to this side because I want to put weight onto this leg, right? But if I'm going to crossbody Ochi or crossbody this way, then my head's over here, and then keeping it sort of. Make sense? And sometimes if I'm going straight back, and if I'm taller than the person, I could be here as well, right? Abe Uta just kind of hit some girl like this too. And in the case that he wants to turn shoulder to counter, I kind of put my, if I'm taller, this is okay too, you know? So it really depends, it could go both ways.
Now would be you getting that side, but still with your head on.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to lock his upper body to me, and then I'm going straight back as well. But to throw him this way with my hand on this side, it's a little bit tricky, right? Because I want to drive all his weight like this. In that case, I want to go here. And then, make sense? Any other questions? No? You good? All right, thank you very much. Thank you.